What if death wasn't the end, but just the beginning of something far greater? What if, in those final moments, you found yourself somewhere beyond time, beyond space, facing the biggest truth of existence? Meet Daniel Carter, a man who had everything to live for, until one fateful day when his heart stopped. But what he saw on the other side changed the way he looked at life and death forever. Daniel Carter was an ordinary man with an ordinary life. At 37, he had a stable job in New York, a loving wife, and a little daughter who was the light of his world. He wasn't a religious man, nor did he believe in anything beyond what science could explain. To him, death was just the end, nothing more, nothing less. That belief shattered the day he died. It started as a normal morning. Daniel was running late for a business meeting, rushing down the subway stairs, his phone in one hand, coffee in the other. As he hurried across the platform, his heart suddenly clenched. A sharp pain shot through his chest, so intense it felt like he was being ripped apart from the inside. His vision blurred, his legs buckled, and before he could even process what was happening, darkness. For a moment there was nothing. No pain, no sound, just silence. And then he opened his eyes. Daniel expected to see the subway platform, the faces of concerned strangers. Instead, he was standing in the middle of an endless field bathed in golden light. The sky above him wasn't blue, but something indescribable, shifting colors that seemed to breathe with life. The air was thick with warmth, like a loving embrace, and in the distance, he could hear music, not from instruments, but from the very fabric of the place itself, as if the universe was singing. As he took a step forward, he realized something shocking. His body felt weightless, yet he was more alive than ever. There was no pain, no fear, no confusion, just an overwhelming sense of peace. Then he saw them. Figures began appearing in the distance, walking towards him. Some he recognized instantly. His grandmother, who had died when he was 10, smiling at him with the same warmth he remembered from childhood. A childhood friend who had passed away in an accident years ago, and others, strangers, yet somehow familiar, as if he had known them in another life. One of them stepped forward, a tall man with piercing eyes dressed in a simple white robe. He spoke, but not with words. His voice echoed directly in Daniel's mind. "You were not supposed to come here yet." Daniel frowned. Where is this?" The man smiled. "You already know." A strange feeling washed over Daniel. He did know. Somehow, deep down, he had always known. This wasn't a dream. This wasn't a hallucination. He was standing in the space between life and death. And then, everything changed. The golden light flickered, and suddenly Daniel was pulled forward at an impossible speed, images flashing before his eyes. His life, from birth to this very moment. Every laugh, every tear, every choice, both good and bad, playing like a film. He felt everything. His own emotions, but also the emotions of those he had hurt, those he had loved. Every moment, every action had a ripple effect, creating waves he had never even noticed. Then the final image, his wife and daughter sitting in a hospital room, holding his lifeless hand, their faces streaked with tears. He felt their grief, their pain, and he knew he had to go back. The tall man stepped forward once more. "Your time is not over." Daniel's heart pounded. "But what is this place? What happens after this?" The man's expression softened. "That is not for you to know yet. But remember, life is more than what you see. And love is the most powerful force in existence." With those words, everything collapsed into darkness. And then, pain. A gasp. Daniel's eyes flew open and he found himself staring at the bright white ceiling of a hospital room. Beeping monitors. A doctor leaning over him. His wife clutching his hand, sobbing with relief. He was alive, but nothing would ever be the same again. From that moment on, Daniel was different. He no longer feared death because he had seen the truth. It wasn't an end, but a doorway. He spent the rest of his life cherishing every second, every interaction, knowing that one day he would return to that golden place. But until then, he had a purpose: to live, to love, and to remind the world that there is more to existence than meets the eye. Was Daniel's experience just a hallucination? Or did he truly glimpse the afterlife? Thousands of people around the world report similar near-death experiences, unexplained visions, encounters with lost loved ones, feelings of peace beyond human comprehension. Could this be proof that our journey doesn't end with death, but continues in ways we can't even begin to understand? One thing is certain, death is not the end.